Hi again. So in this video, I'm going to show you some of the features on the inside of the car. I'm going to skip over some of the techie things like the navigation and the Bluetooth and go over just all of the buttons and the standard features inside the car. Here we go. So first, with the door open here, you've got one touch open close for all the windows, unlock and lock for the whole car, and if this button is pushed in where you see this little green light, that locks out power to everyone's window except for yours. So if you had kids in the back seat, you could shut the access to their windows off. These are your side view mirror controls. You just let the car know if you're wanting to work with the left mirror or the right mirror, and then you move this little circle up and down or left or right, and it will move the side view mirrors whichever way you're pushing that button. There's also a feature on here for auto, and I'll leave that button on. And in auto, what that does is when you turn the car off, the side mirrors will pull in by themselves, just like that. And when you turn the car back on, the side mirrors will go out, just like that. You can make them go in and out by themselves by just pushing this little button here, which is what I just did before. But otherwise, if you leave it in auto mode, it just does it when you unlock and lock the car. These buttons that are right over here is your memory seating, and the memory seating is going to keep memory of your seat, which are your seat controls down here. This is extending out the front of the seat, and this is actually moving the seat forward and backwards. This front part is raising and lowering your seat. Raising and lowering actually the incline up against your leg, if you can see that, how it's moving. This back one actually lifts the entire seat up and down. And then this button right here is going to recline and incline the seat. And then this is your lumbar support. The memory seating only keeps memory, though, of these power things. It does not actually keep memory of the lumbar. Then it also keeps memory of the steering wheel position. And the steering wheel position can be adjusted by this little button right here on the left side of the steering wheel. Up and down, in or out. Whatever way you do that is going to move the steering wheel. So then once you have all three of those things set how you want, then you're going to come back over here, hold the set button down with one finger, and then pick which driver you're going to be and hold that button down. So I did that and held that down till you heard the beep, and that just set all three of those things into memory seating. Over here is your gas tank release. The car takes regular fuel now. This is a button inside the car that lets you power open and close the back hatch. This is a button that washes your headlights. Yes, that's what I said, a headlight washer. You push this button, it pops up these little compartments that are right underneath the headlights and cleans them. BSM, that's down here, that stands for blind spot monitor. And when I turn that feature on, you can see that orange light that's lighting up in the side view mirror. That is actually what it looks like when someone's driving in your blind spot. That little light will come on when somebody's over there. Then, just hopping inside the car, over here, you have your headlight controls. And actually, I'm going to already just have this in the right spot for you. There's an auto mode. I don't know if you can kind of see that here on the screen. And I've got it set in auto. And what auto does is your daytime running lights will be on in the day, and then your normal headlights will just come on right by themselves at nighttime. On the other side of the steering wheel, you also have the controls for the windshield wipers. So if I push it all the way up, where you see it says mist, it just mists and then it goes right back to off. If I pull it down one more, which is where it's going to be when you get it, it is in auto mode. And in auto mode, those are rain sensing wipers. So anytime any moisture hits the windshield, the wipers just turn on by themselves, and then they adjust how fast the windshields will go based on how fast the water is hitting the car. But just like any car that you have that has an intermittent mode, you can speed that up and slow that down. So when it's in auto mode and the wipers are going, if you want them to go faster, you go up towards this bigger part here. And if you want them to go slower, you just turn it down towards that little part. You also can manually put them on low and manually put them on high, just by pulling the toggle down to low and then pulling the toggle down to high. So all the way up and let go is off, and one more down is auto, and that's where you are right now. The other little part here on the end of this toggle is for the rear wiper, and there's just two settings for that, intermittent and on. Intermittent is going to make them go slower. On is going to make them go a little bit faster. And then, of course, all the way down to off is turning them off. You pull this towards you to spray your front windshield to clean it. And then you turn this little picture all the way up to that to match with that picture to spray the rear as well. Some other buttons that are on the steering wheel on the left side over here are controls for your radio and CD player and satellite radio. If the radio is off, you just hit mode and it will turn the radio on. You see where it says satellite at the top of that screen right there? And I can keep hitting mode, and it'll go from AM to FM to CD player to my Bluetooth. It'll just keep cycling through all of the radio options that you've got. Then over here, this is a picture of a speaker. So this is volume controls. And then I just turned the radio on. These up and down buttons let you skip up and down to the next radio station, or the next track on the CD, or the next song in your playlist if you're using it on your phone. On the right side of the steering wheel, these up and down arrows right here just change some information in this little area right in front of you in the instrument panel that just says cruising range, average speed, average miles per gallon. This is just some information that the car has to show you that you can keep on here while you're driving. And if you would like to reset any of that information, you just hold the enter button down and it will reset that back to 0. This other button that's underneath your steering wheel allows you access to a couple other different features inside the vehicle as well. If I push that square button, it pulls this up on the screen. These are the parking sensors that I was showing you. They're in the front and rear of the car. And you can turn those off and on by hitting the enter button. And that's going to turn those on and off. Really, you'd want to leave them on. They just let you know when you're getting too close to things, and they start beeping faster if you get closer. And then ECT snow, what this does is start your car out in second gear from a stop if you're driving through really thick packed snow. The car is all-wheel drive, so if you do forget that you have this feature, it's okay. The car is going to kick on all-wheel drive by itself, but that would be a feature that you would use if you were driving, like I said, driving through really thick packed snow. Maybe they hadn't plowed the roads. Maybe you're having a hard time actually getting through the road. That would be the kind of a scenario to put it on, but normally this car is going to be able to get through anything. The other button that's on here is for your cell phone. I'll also include a video that I've got on how to hook up your cell phone. This is a voice command button. If I push this,
say a shortcut menu command. Say help at any time for additional instructions.
It just pulls up this menu with some information, with some different things that you can say. You can enter. You can enter.
After the beep, say a short.
You can enter addresses. You can have the car call something for you. Look up things while you're driving. A lot of really different cool things that you can do all right while you're driving with the voice command. This little button right here is part of the cruise control system. Your cruise control is the normal cruise control is actually right here. You accelerate to the speed, or excuse me, first you push this little button here. And you're going to have this little picture that turns on. Actually, I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on again. And it's a little picture of a car with like a circle and a triangle in it, or a circle and an arrow. And that is just the indicator that the cruise control is on. And then when it is on, let me just get to a good spot here where you can see what I'm doing. You just push this, you get to the speed that you want, and where it says set right here, you just push down on the toggle, and that sets you. And then where it says resume, if you had to brake, you just push up and it resumes you. And then see here where it says cancel in mode. If I pull this towards you, it cancels the cruise control, just turns it off. And if I hit mode, if I push it forward, it turns the mode on. And what the mode is doing is turning it from regular cruise control to the radar cruise control. So now it says radar ready because I pushed it forward. And so then when I'm radar ready, when you're driving, you can push this button here. And you can see this is a picture of a car that's showing up right here.
After the beep, say a shortcut menu.
The car really wants to talk to us. But once I push that button that I just showed you, see how those 3 lines are appearing and then disappearing? That is letting me pick the distance that I want the cruise control to bounce off the car in front of me. So 3 lines, it's going to be, I think it's about 15 feet, and then it gets to like 10 feet and then 5 feet. And so you just have those 3 different settings, and that's how far it will bounce off the car in front of you to speed you up and slow you down. Or you just push the mode again, and it goes from normal cruise control to the radar cruise control. So if you just want it to be on the normal cruise control, you just push it again, and so you do not see radar ready right up on the screen. The other thing that's over here is, I'm going to make it go to a black background, is your navigation screen. It actually flips to this black background when the headlights turn on, and that's just so it's not so blinding to you at night. This navigation screen also doubles as your rear backup camera. When I put the car in reverse, it's going to show what's behind you. And then to move things around and do things on the navigation screen, you're going to end up using this mouse that's down here, where you just rest your hand here, move the mouse around with your fingers like this. it moves a little mouse that's on the mouse indicator that's on the screen. And then when I want to click on something, I push down on it. And then when I push down on something, you'll end up hearing this little beep that goes right up on the screen. And we'll jump a little bit more details into the screen here in a different video. I just want to show you some of the rest of the basic things in the car. Over here are front vents for the vehicle. You can open and close the vents here. This is your hazard lights. CD player. It's a single disc CD player. Just stick on the CD in and it'll start playing. You can eject it out right here. And then this is play and pause. So if you were on the radio and you wanted to go back to your CD, you can just hit this. You can also hit this again to pause it. The radio information when it's on is displayed up here in your nav screen. So right now it shows that the audio is off, but if I push this big button here on the left, it actually turns it on. And then I can keep hitting radio and it will go from AM to FM to satellite. And then I can use this knob over here to dial in radio stations that I want. Then if you also have music on your phone, you can hit this media button and that will pull any music that's on your phone. That will just allow that to automatically start playing. And then you can use these arrow buttons to skip up and down to your next radio stations or your next memory radio stations or the next track in your CD. The black part of this dash right here is your air conditioning controls and climate controls. This increases and decreases your fan speed, but it does have this function here called auto mode. And in auto mode, so if you see at the top of the screen, it says temperature high. It's just pulling this little drop down so I can see what's going on with the temperature. So I can push this button right here, temperature up and down, and it's going to change the temperature right up here on the screen. I also have another temperature button over here, up and down, that the passenger can change, and notice it's changing the right side of the screen now. So in auto mode, you just set the temperature to whatever you want, and the fans will just increase and decrease on their own to keep the car at whatever temperature you picked when you're in auto. That's like the air conditioning at your house. You also can just manually increase the fans and decrease the fans, but notice that turned off auto because that just made me tell the car what I wanted it to do rather than let the car think for itself. That turns the whole thing off. That is your defroster for your front windshield, defroster for your rear windshield and your side view mirrors. This lets you change how the vents are blowing. And then when you're in auto mode, this can be put to auto mode too. And that lets the car decide if it wants to pull fresh air from outside or recirculate air inside the car. Shifter is right here. When you shift the car, obviously reverse, neutral, drive is going to be right here, which is right here. If you're over on this side right here, that is letting you manually shift the gears. So if you were in that mode, I don't know if it'll let me do this while the accessories are on. See how I'm in D now? If I had it over on that side, pulled over to here, where I'm right here, that is letting me, now if you see right here, I'm pointing to right here, there's actually a number there, and it would let me shift through the gears. So for just normal drive, you want to keep it to the right in drive. So it's reverse. I'll move my camera here. Reverse, which has your backup camera. Neutral, drive. Then you have cup holders right here. You have heated seats and air-conditioned seats. Heated seats are going to obviously heat the seat. Air-conditioned are going to blow air-conditioned air through the holes in the leather. And then these two features here are more so if you ever got the car stuck. This turns off your traction control so that your wheels could spin free to rock you out of something. And this locks the car in all-wheel drive no matter what, but it only does it up to 15 miles an hour. And then after that, the car will decide if it should be in all-wheel drive or not. So most likely you would only use these two features if you were stuck. Moonroof controls up here, pretty easy to use. Open, close, just open, just literally slides the whole moonroof open. And closes the whole thing. And then the other buttons that are over here up, just pop up the back of the moonroof like that, and then the other button down closes it down. These are interior lights, map reading lights, which I actually have on right now. So those are just lights you can turn on as well. SOS, this is a feature that you're going to get free for a year in the car. It's it's called Safety Connect. This is like Lexus's version of OnStar. So if you get in an accident, you witness an accident, you need roadside assistance, anything like that, you can push this button and connect to somebody right away. And if your airbags deploy, they connect to you right away, and they stay on the phone with you until help arrives. And then you have these little buttons right here. This will be the last thing I'll show you. These little buttons right here in the rear view mirror that let you program up to 3 different garage door openers and turn off and on an electrochromatic dimming feature that makes the feature is on right now that makes this dim at night when someone drives up behind you, and it also makes your side view mirrors dim when someone drives up behind you. So that is the RX in a nutshell. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm going to make you another video about the navigation and some of the other things. But if you've got any questions, you let me know. Take care.